go any further, I need to make clear that there are several important rights and constitutional protections that you have. Specifically, to start with, you have the right to remain silent. That means that you do not have to say anything. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that confess or admit wrongdoing. That's called the right to remain silent. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to a jury trial. That's where you and your attorney and the state's attorneys, through the proper process, would select 6 people from a jury pool or a panel, and that those 6 people would hear the evidence, the testimony, see whatever materials are presented, and decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. That's the right to a jury trial. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. As part of the process, you also have the right to confront witnesses. That means anybody who testifies, you and your attorney could question, challenge, cross-examine them. Do you understand you have the right to cross-examine or confront witnesses? It's also called the right to face your accusers.
Yes.
You understand you have that right? Mr. Murati?
Yes, Your Honor.
You also have the right to appeal. That is a right where you yourself, by yourself, or your attorney by himself, or the 2 of you together, following the right process, using the right paperwork, and obeying the time limits, you could ask a higher court to review the official record in this proceeding, review the evidence, the testimony, everything, for whatever challenge you wanted to make. That's called the right of appeal. You understand you have that right?
Yes.
All right. Also, there's a right to have this proceeding in an open public courtroom. Because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. So we need you to agree to do this by what's called video conference. It's my understanding that you agree with this, and all these rights that we're talking about just now, you give those up if you insist on doing a plea. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Have you had the chance to discuss these rights with your attorney?
Yes.
All right. Now I'm going to show you some documents from this case. The documents will start off at the top. If you notice, are you looking at a phone or a computer? All right. If you notice at the top, it's got what I will call identifying information. The case number in this case is 657449. The state of Texas versus Bruno Murati in County Court Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. That part of it will be repeated in almost every case, every document except one. Now, then after that identifying information, you have the title of the document or the paper. This one is called State's Consent to Video Conference. I mentioned a while ago that you and the state have the right to an open jury courtroom hearing. The state here in this document has agreed to do it by video conference. You'll notice it is signed by Caitlin C. Morgan. She's the assistant district attorney in this case. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any questions about this document?
No, ma'am.
All right. The next document is called a discovery acknowledgement. This document talks about a law that the state of Texas has. It is described in the first line there after the title of the document. This one says pursuant to Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. That refers to a particular law that says that the state of Texas, the prosecutors, have to share with you, acknowledge any kind of relevant material, things that are of importance concerning this case, whether it's documents, receipts, paperwork, videos, whatever it is. You have to share it with you and your attorney so that you know all of what's necessary in this case and you can make a good decision that's in your interest. You understand that that's what this document is all about. It is signed by your attorney and the state's attorney. They're saying, yes, this law has been obeyed. You see those signatures, both of them?
Yes.
All right, I'll be signing this and approving the document. Then this one, after the identifying information at the top, you see those again. This one is titled Defendant Consent to Video Conference. That's where you agree to do a video conference instead of holding this in the open public courtroom. Did you sign that? Is that your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your attorney signed it also. Now we have a paper after the identifying information gets repeated. This one is titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It starts off with the first sentence, I, Bruno Moratti, and it talks about that you don't need me to read every paper to you, especially the one that accuses you. The second sentence says, I understand that in this case I am charged with, you see that, DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. Then the third one, what does the third one say? Can you read that to me?
This falls out by into a period of manual and
Excuse me, I can't hear you.
in this clause, I hereby enter a period of non-contender.
Nolo contender, yes, sir, I understand. Go ahead.
The following allegation, DWI.
All right. Now, I need you to understand one thing. You notice that you were originally charged with DWI with BAC, it called 0.15 or higher. Just so you know, that's a Class A misdemeanor. But what you're going to wind up by this document and your agreement, you're going to wind up pleading nolo contendere, no contest, to DWI. So the part about 0.015 or higher, that's being dropped. Now, the rest of this document is divided into 15 numbered parts. The first one talks about the range of punishment for this case. DWI first, fine $0 to $2,000, and jail 72 hours to 180 days in jail. Did you see that? It's got a check mark next to it. Do you see that?
Yeah.
All right, you need to speak up because we're having trouble hearing you. Mr. Montalvo, I'm sorry, Montoya.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review this document with your client?
Yes, I did, Judge, several times.
Did he understand it?
Yes, he did, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Muradi, did you understand this whole paper here with the 15 numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, where were you born, sir?
San Antonio, Texas.
Okay. These documents would all reflect that you were born in San Antonio and that you are a U.S. citizen. That's your signature there at the top?
Yes, ma'am.
And that of your attorney and of the state. And I will be approving this document. Now what you're seeing is another document. This one repeats the identifying information, case number, your name, and the court number 5. There are a vertical stack of boxes, and each one of them says something about the right to appeal. The fifth one, which is the one at the top here looking at you, says, I am certifying, the judge, I, John Longoria, I am certifying that this is a plea bargain case and you do not have a right of appeal. Was that explained to you? Did you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will be signing that also. I see that your signature is there on the bottom. Now, we have an application for judge-ordered community supervision. That's after another repeat of the identifying information. Then it talks about the application. Did you read this and understand it carefully?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that this is a written, legal, binding agreement, a contract between you and this court that you will obey, you will live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision. In exchange, the jail sentence part of this sentence or this punishment will be suspended. It'll be held up or probated. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, that means that you have to live up to those conditions. And if you don't live up to the conditions, then the state will ask me to bring you in after official hearing notice. And we can, at that time, hear the evidence. And if it's appropriate, we can send you to jail. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, the conditions of supervision, they're going to be read to you. If the probation people will read them to you, you will sign them, and they will put a copy in your hands. Is that clear?
Yes,
All right. Scroll, please. You'll now see a document. That one does not have the identifying information, because basically this one is a complete identification of you. This is your identifying paper. Got your name, address, date of birth, all that stuff. You work for Enterprise Solutions.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you do there?
I'm an electrician.
You what?
I'm an electrician. I build hospitals.
Okay, very good. You got a good job, huh?
Yes.
You work full time. How many hours a week do you work?
40 hours a week.
How many?
40.
Okay, very good. All right. You've got 3 people that always know how to find you.
Yes, Your
Your
Honor.
mom, your sister. Who's Hema?
Yeah, she's my other sister.
Scroll, please. Hema Reyes, there you are, sister. You did not serve in the military. You're single. You have 0 dependents. No kids you got to pay for, huh?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You have a Ford F-150 pickup.
Yes.
It's a gray truck. All right. Very good. You filled out all the information that I need here. Scroll, please. Now we're going to reload the computer and we're going to show your the plea deal that you and Mr. Montoya made, okay? If you have any questions when I'm reading this stuff or talking to you about it, you make sure you let me know, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you finish high school?
Yeah.
Good. All right, this is the plea agreement. It has your name and case number, then it has 2 boxes. The first 2 boxes will be marked. I'll make sure that they're done so for the record. The second box says that you are a U.S. citizen. Well, you testified to that. Then there's a section there that it's defendant's acknowledgments. Mr. Montoya, did you and Mr. Murati carefully review this section?
Yes, Your Honor.
And all those check marks, they are true and accurate?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Murati, all that stuff there is true?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, on the DWI, state you have a motion.
Yes, Your Honor. The state moves to waive and abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement and proceed on an unenhanced DWI.
No objections,
right.
Judge.
There being no objections, that last box in that section there, that will be marked. I am granting that motion. That, Mr. Murati, means that you're no longer charged with DWI extreme intoxication or DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. You're charged with DWI, just plain simple DWI misdemeanor B.
Thank you, Your Honor.
To that charge, officially on the record, how do you plead, sir?
Non-contest.
No contest. All right. I will remind you that a no contest plea is sufficient by itself for me to find you guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, at the top of the page there, you will see a order that I'm ordering you to appear here at the offices of County Court of Law number 5. You have to have your thumbprint put on several documents. The ladies here, the people here will help you. You won't have to look for them or find them on your own. They will help you. They'll assist you. It's a simple process, but it's required by law.
Yes, Your Honor.
I find you guilty of the charge, but I place you on probation. You are sentenced. The punishment is 180 days in Bexar County Jail, but is probated for a term of 9 months. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I fine you $500, but the state is wanting me to probate 500. That means forgive the 500. I will tell you that I will not. Do you support your mom?
Yes.
Does she work outside the house?
Yes.
What does she do? Where does she work?
She's a lunch lady at a school.
She's what?
A lunch lady at a school.
Okay. I will look at this $500. At this point, I'm not going to forgive it. And because I'm not forgiving it, then I'm giving you a heavier fine than you agreed to. That means that you could start all over again if you wanted to. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I want you to do 24 hours of community service restitution. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, you will, in good faith, enroll in and complete the DWI education program. You will submit to a TAP evaluation and follow recommendations. You will have 6 months continuously of ignition interlock monitor placed on your truck. During those 6 months, you're not to drive anybody else's vehicle other than your own that has the ignition interlock. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, your supervisory fee, I'm going to make that $34 a month.
Advisory fee?
You're going to be supervised by the probation office,
Oh, okay.
and you will have to pay them $34 a month. That will all be explained to you shortly. There's a lady named Maricela Luna that is called a court liaison officer. She will explain to you what you have to do with probation, or when and where and how you can do that. Okay? Now, the $500 fine, the state was willing to forgive you. But all of this is up to me whether I accept it or not. If I rejected the whole deal, you could start all over again. If I give you a heavier punishment than what you agreed to, in this case, you agreed to a $500 fine and to have the $500 fine forgiven. I am not going to accept that. You're going to have to pay at least $250 of that. I was thinking that you should pay the whole thing because you're young, you've got a good job, you don't have children to support, but I'm going to cut that in half. Now, do you want to start all over again, or do you accept that? Mr. Montoya, what do y'all want to do?
Judge, that'll be fine with Mr. Marati. He and I talked about it. The reason we asked for a probate of the fine so he can pay for the interlock fee. He does help his mom quite a bit, the single mom and his sisters. But if the judge feels just recognize half of it, that will be fine.
We're going to do that. Mr. Muradi, are you in agreement with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I don't want to forgive you totally because you should not have had that kind of blood alcohol readings. I realize that under the law that has not been proven because that's been dropped. The fact that it was dropped was something very important that Mr. Montoya got for you by having that reduced from DWI extreme intoxication to regular DWI. But it's important for you to know and understand that you cannot be drinking and driving like you were doing. Do you understand?
Yes.
The worst thing could happen to you, you're out there drinking and driving and you kill some innocent little kid or some innocent old man like me. Of course, if you ran over and killed me, you'd be in a lot of trouble. So, very much so. All right. So you be careful about that. You don't
Yep.
need to be doing that. Okay. You have any questions, Mr. Muradi?
No, Your Honor. Or yes, one question. If you're gonna go like to email or
All of this, as far as the probation and stuff, that's going to be explained to you in a few minutes. There's a lady named Maricela Luna that will talk to you shortly. Don't leave. We'll put you all together so you can get it all started up right. Mr. Montoya, any question?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, I better get this straight. Mr. Isidro Montoya Jr.
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't want people to mistake you for Montoya Senior, right?
Thank you, Judge.
Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused, Your Honor?